Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on which part of the globe you are joining us from. Welcome to the new episode of AWS on Air, and we are in the second week of reInvent 2020. And I'm very sure that you all are gaining some good amount of insights about various new services, launches, enjoying the deep dive breakout sessions, and having fun connecting with everyone across the globe. I am Suman Devnath, a principal developer advocate from AWS, and I'm super excited to have Vinay Shukla, who is our principal product manager for Amazon Redshift. Hello, Vinay. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Suman. Good to be with you.
Thank you so much for your time. I know that this has been a very busy week for you, and we are so glad to have you today in the show.
Yeah, it was a busy and exciting week. Today was a big day. We made a lot of new announcements, so I'm very excited to be here with you and speak to you about many of the new announcements we made today.
Absolutely. So today we are going to talk about the new type of RA3 node, which Rahul also mentioned in his keynote earlier today in the morning. So before we get into that, before we dive deep into this new node type, can you just walk us through about the different types of Redshift nodes that we have and how RA3 differentiates with the previous generation of nodes?
Sure. So Redshift until reInvent of last year used to have two node types based on uh, direct attached storage to the compute node, and they were based on they were called DC2 dense compute node with SSD in it, and dense storage node with hardware or hard disk in it. And those were the two nodes that came with fixed amount of storage. But last year at reInvent in 2019, we announced RA3 node types that separated storage from compute. And the benefit is customers can scale and pay for storage and compute separately. And not only that, the RA3 nodes take advantage of managed storage in S3 to allow essentially customers to bring more data to Redshift.
Great. Yeah. So basically, now our customers can scale their storage based on their need. They don't have to add compute, just for the adding the storage, right? So what are we launching today, and why do you feel that is important for our customers?
So RA3 nodes that we launched last year became very widely used in our customer segment. Many customers upgraded their existing clusters. Many new customers adopted RA3 node, and they like what we launched last year. We launched RA3 16XL, and earlier this year, on April 2nd, we launched RA3 4XL, and the 4XL node type is one-fourth the size of 16XL, as the name suggests, both in terms of compute capabilities as well as price. And customers wanted even more control over their costs, so they asked us, give us a smaller increment in our compute and costs. So today we are pleased to announce, as of Rahul's keynote, is that we now have RA3 XL Plus node type, which is one-third the size of RA3 4XL at one-third the price.
Excellent. So basically, we are giving more option to our customers, and depending on their usage and the storage requirement and price point, they can select based on the different types of node configuration that we have. So that's always great to have options open for our customers. So now that we know what is our new node type, can you just walk us through for any new customer or developer how to get started with it?
Sure. So let me share my screen, and I will walk you through a little more detail on the architecture, and I will show you a very quick demo to show how easy it is to get started. So if I share my screen, you can see so on this slide, if you're able to see my screen, you
Yes.
can see the RA3 nodes. They have separated compute from storage. And the way we have done it is we have RA3 nodes with a very large cache, and then we have a very high bandwidth network connection to Redshift Managed Storage, which is based on S3. And S3 is ultimately used for storing or keeping the data, and local storage is used for cache. And customers can just use the amount of compute they need and the amount of storage they need, and pay for the actual usage of storage and compute they use. So uh, we briefly talked about 16XL and 4XL, and in the slide you can see them side by side. 16XL and 4XL have been GA already, and XL Plus is the new announcement that was made live today, December 9th, 2020. So with today's announcement, we have the third and the smallest member of RA3 Node Type family, and customers have more flexibility depending on their compute needs. They can choose any of these three node types and have as many nodes as they need between the ranges of 2 and 128 nodes in a single Redshift cluster. So this gives customers more flexibility in terms of the compute increment and the price increment as they are adding nodes for their growing compute needs. I can also show you a demo that shows how easy it is to get started by creating a cluster based on XL Plus. So if you are a new Redshift customer or an existing customer, as an existing customer, you're very familiar with create cluster workflow. And I will show a quick demo. You go to the create cluster workflow, and you will see a new option pop up there for RA3 XL Plus. And all you have to do is provide the password that you want for your cluster and hit create cluster, and the cluster is created quickly for you under the covers. And you can see I have in this account already one cluster that is available. And right now, the RA3 XL Plus cluster is being created. It will take a few more seconds, and then I will have a cluster ready that I can start to use and run queries against it right away. So this shows you how easy it is to create a Redshift cluster and get started with it. And now my RA3 cluster is ready, and I'm ready to send any queries to it.
Excellent. So it's pretty simple for any customer to pick the nodes and create a cluster. It's just like before, we just have a new option in the UI, and same can be done through other CLI or any API. So this is about the new customers. But how about the existing customers who are already having their Redshift cluster running on any of the different node types, maybe DS2 or DC2, or even the RA3, the previous version. So how they can upgrade to this latest version?
That's a good question, Suman. So actually, it's pretty easy to upgrade. So in this section of the demo, I will show you there are two ways to upgrade your cluster very quickly that we recommend. One is called restore from snapshot. And in this approach, you essentially point to the latest backup or of your cluster. And based on that backup, you hit create restore from snapshot, and a new cluster is created in minutes. And the new cluster is a parallel running cluster. It doesn't change your old cluster, and you can quickly create a cluster that way. An even easier method is elastic resize. And elastic resize earlier this year in April, we enhanced elastic resize to allow resizing a cluster across node types. So now you can upgrade your cluster from DS2 to RA3 using elastic resize in minutes. So I'll show you both approaches. Between the two, I find myself second approach much easier, and I highly recommend customers to use that. So let's see a demo. So in this demo, you're seeing I go to the backup page. I point to the latest backup I took yesterday, and I recorded this demo yesterday, and then you hit restore from snapshot, and that's you provide Redshift will give you recommendation based on the existing cluster you have. I highly suggest that in most cases you use this recommendation. So there, you just select the recommended number of nodes for RA3, and then you provide the password obviously to it, and then you say restore from snapshot. So here I'm using the default, unless if you want to change any of those settings, you can do so, but I'll choose the defaults, and you're creating, restoring a new cluster, and this will be created parallel. I will also show you an easier way, which I mentioned. So in this demo, you'll see I'll go directly to the cluster, and so I go to the same DS2 cluster. And now I will go to Actions tab, and I will say resize my cluster, and I'll say resize, and it shows two options: elastic resize and classic resize. Please choose the elastic resize in all situations, and just use the again, it gives you recommendation of number of nodes for RA3 and node type, and you can do it now or you can schedule it later. So here, just for an example, I want this resize to happen this weekend, so I create a schedule, and at midnight UTC time zone, this cluster will automatically be resized to RA3. I could have chosen to resize it right away, but showing how easy it is to schedule it as well. I'm scheduling a resize to happen at midnight while I'm sleeping, and once I get back, my new cluster is ready. So it shows you how easy it is to upgrade to RA3 and take advantage of all the new capabilities we are launching.
Excellent. So I guess it's pretty straightforward, and I personally also felt that the second option is more straightforward and easy because you don't have to worry about nuts and bolts of snapshots and all, and it can do automatically while you are sleeping, as you just mentioned, because we can schedule that. So now when we talk about Redshift storage is a major concern, because at the end of the day, there only the data stores, and we have our Redshift can scale to petabytes of storage. So we know that this managed storage is just working, but can you just tell us more about that and how it has evolved since the launch?
Yeah, we actually made a lot of enhancements to managed storage. Some are visible to you and others are more under covers. To give an example, we launched RA3 16XL, and we put a storage quota on the RMS per node of 64 terabyte. And as you can imagine, there is no cache that has 64 terabyte capacity. And the reason we were able to offer that is because of the architecture I showed you, where we use S3 to put data in managed storage. And we launched both 16XL and 4XL with the same storage quota of 64 terabyte per node. And in the largest RA3 cluster, you can have up to, with 16XL, you could have up to 8 petabytes. But recently, we have doubled the storage quota for 16XL. And 16XL, if you are a customer, you should see 16XL quota double in your cluster without you having to do anything. And for 4XL, by the time you're watching this video as well, you will see that the 4XL storage quota is doubled. So essentially, with the separation of storage and compute, we can increase the storage quota at our end without doing any, like your cluster does not need to change. You don't have to run any upgrade. We are just, as we can make more improvements to our caching effectiveness and algorithm, we are increasing the storage at our end. So if you see the progression, until 2018, the largest clusters, the storage per node was 16 terabyte. As of last year's reInvent, we increased it 4x to 64 terabyte. And now we are doubling it to 128 terabyte per node. And the benefit is, if you start just the smallest cluster with 2 nodes, you have with 2 nodes 256 terabyte. That's almost a quarter of, that is a quarter of a petabyte. So just 2 nodes, you have ability to analyze up to a quarter of petabyte should you need. But generally what we find is customer who have that much data, they want to use that data and they keep on adding more nodes so that they can get the more compute nodes so they can get the compute performance for their workload. So this was one significant improvement we made this year on managed storage.
Excellent. So, while you were speaking about the, increasing the quota of storage, I was just remembering the days when I started my career. The amount of storage that you are talking, we had a full rack of drives to, have in our data center, to cater that amount of storage for any application. And now we have that in a single node. So that's amazing. So now that we talked about the various options that we have for our RA3 node types, and how we can set it up, how we can migrate, and all of that. So the last question is, and that is the most important question, is on the pricing. So can you just touch base on the pricing for our customers, and if there are any discounts that they are eligible for?
Sure. So let me take you to our pricing page. Regardless of which region you use, you can always find the pricing page. You can go to the pricing page, and now you can see on the pricing page of Redshift, there is a new option for RA3, a new node type called RA3 XL Plus. And as you can see, a single node of RA3 XL Plus in US East region cost, the on-demand price we are looking at is $0.086 per hour. And you can see the price and the compute capacity between XL Plus, 4XL large, and 16XL, everything is proportional. So you just have to choose based on what your compute needs are. But for getting discounts, I highly recommend that you consider looking at reserved instance pricing. So if you go to the reserved instance pricing part of that, and you can see for RA3 XL Plus, if you are willing to make a 1-year commitment, you can get above 30% discount, and that reduces your hourly cost significantly. And if you're willing to make a 3-year reserved instance commitment, you can get even more discount, more than 60% discount if you take the partial upfront or all upfront offering. And this reduces your cost very significantly, even beyond the most cost-effective data warehouse we offer.
Excellent. So I think that gives a good performance to pricing for our customers, not only the existing customers, but also for the new customers. So I guess we got one question, if you would like to take, and that is, is there any downtime to resize the when we resize our cluster to a new node type? Is there any downtime involved?
So if you're using elastic resize, the cluster is available for most of your duration. There may be a few connections where queries may retry, but for most of the connections, and in our testing, we have seen 95% of the queries continue while you're resizing. But some queries may need to be resubmitted.
Excellent. Yeah, that makes sense as well. So I think that's great, and we got an overview of this particular new node, and this is really great because, as you mentioned, since we launched RA3 at reInvent last year, where we introduced 2 new node types, and we continue to evolve, and our customers love the benefit and the new capabilities. And now with this new edition of RA3 XL Plus, this is going to help our customers even more because in terms of price, especially because it's just 1/3 of the existing pricing that we have for other nodes.
Correct.
And and the best part is the customer can now have more flexibility and more option for compute sizing, right? And that addresses a wider workload requirement, right? So Thank you so much, Vinay, for all of your time joining us here at AWS On Air and sharing insights about this new node type and new capability and enhancement of storage quota. I'm very sure that the customers are equally excited about this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Suman. I can't wait to see what our customers will do with the new node type.
Absolutely, yeah. So with that, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here at AWS on air. I'll see you tomorrow again with some new launches. Till then, enjoy the reinvent and keep building awesome products. Bye bye.